Students, today we will start the new chapter, which is chapter 4, linear equations in two variables. Before starting this chapter, I'm sure you all have heard about these terms, linear equations, variables. So I will explain what are variables first. Now variables means anything which does not hold its fixed value, which values changes, are known as variables. Like for example, your age changes after every year, right? So your age is also a variable. The price of any commodity, the price of petrol, it changes. So these are variables. But in mathematics we use symbols. to represent variables. And when I say symbol, you can draw pictures also. But if you draw this type of picture, it will be inconvenient to write this type of pictures in equations. That is why instead of using the pictures, we use the symbol. And the symbol, you can choose any letters from English alphabets. So we'll write A to Z. From this letter A to Z, you can choose any letter as your variable, because letters, they don't have their fixed value. When I say A, it does not mean A is 1. A is A, it's a letter only. It does not mean 1. If I say Z, it's not 26. Okay, Z is not 26. Z means it's Z only. It does not hold its fixed value. That is why we can choose letters as variables in mathematics. Now from A to Z, you can pick up any letters. So I'll pick X. Now in this chapter we need how many variables? 2 variables. That is why I'll pick up X and Y. Okay, so these are the 2 variables I wrote out here. Now these 2 variables must be linear. Linear means the power of the variables must be 1. So this is X, means X to the power 1. That is why this is X. Y means Y to the power 1. That is why this is Y. We cannot use X to the power 2, Y to the power 2, X to the power 3, X to the power 4. We cannot use numbers like this. We have to keep the power 1 always, because this is linear. Now after this, we have 2 variables and both are linear. That means power is 1. Now I have to form equations. Now to form the equations, we have to use the operator, and your operator may be either plus or minus. So in order to write this variable in equation form, I will write it like this: X plus Y. Now this becomes your equation. Also I can write X minus Y. So this is also your equation. And in these 2 equations, there are 2 variables and both the variable have power 1. That is why we call this type of equations as linear equations in 2 variables. Now let's talk about the general form of linear equations in 2 variables. And your general form is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. This is the general form of linear equations in 2 variables. Now in this general form, x and y are variables, but a, b and c are real numbers. Okay, so this is your form: ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now in place of a, b and c, we will have real numbers, but x and y are variables. So I can replace a, b and c by any number. Let a be 2. Okay, 2x plus b be 3, 3y plus c can be any number. So 4 is equal to 0. Now this is your linear equation in 2 variables. And students, also keep in mind that whenever you replace the values of A, B and C, your A cannot be 0, the value of B, it cannot be 0, but the value of C can be 0. Now I will show you why the values of A and B cannot be 0. Okay, now this is your general form. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. If you put the value of A as 0, now this becomes 0 into x plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now 0 into x, 0 multiply with any number is always 0, plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now this becomes by plus c is equal to 0. So now if you check here, our result is by plus c is equal to 0. Now here y is your variable, and we have only one variable here. We have only one variable, but this is linear equations in how many variables? 2 variables. We should have 2 variables, but we are having only one variable now. That is why A cannot be 0. If you put the value of A as 0, this will not be the linear equation into variables. Okay, now let's check for B. If you put B as 0, what will happen? Let's see. This is Ax plus, in place of B I'll write 0, y plus c is equal to 0. So Ax, 0 plus y is 0 only, so I'll ignore that, plus c is equal to 0. Now here also this is Ax plus c is equal to 0. Now here variable is x. We have only one variable here, but for linear equations in 2 variables we must have 2 variables, but we are getting only one variable. That is why we cannot write the value of B as 0. Now again, this is not a linear equation in 2 variables. So students, I hope you all have understood why the value of A and B cannot be 0. Now let's check for C. If C is equal to 0, this will be Ax plus by plus, in place of C I will write 0. Now Ax plus by, 0 can be ignored, plus B is equal to 0. Now see, in the result we have x and y, 2 variables, and these are linear. The power of x and y is 1 only. So this is linear equation in 2 variables. That means if you put the value of C as 0, it will not affect the equation. It will not affect the equation. But if you put the value of A and B as 0, that will change the meaning of the equation, and that will not become linear equations in 2 variables. That is why we should not write 0 at A and B. I hope you all have understood what is linear equations in 2 variables, what is its general form, and how to form the linear equations. We can form many linear equations by replacing the values of A, B and C. Thank you students.